Mexico and the United States stand together and work together as we've been doing. We see in our security cooperation, we're working side by side to combat arms trafficking, to combat, tackle organized crime, and to address the opioid epidemic, and including fentanyl, which when we talk privately, I want to tell you about my great conversation with Xi Jinping on that issue. And in our economic cooperation, we're growing.
Folks, we have some good news for you. The applications are here for you to receive stimulus checks. Top economists and the Fed are worried about the current state of the economy, and it does mean this: inflation is decreasing. But officials have confirmed that this does not mean a recession will occur. Lawmakers are trying to pass a bill that would help the residents with inflation. Plus, inflation is just beginning to decrease for many American consumers. Gas is less, eggs cost roughly half as much as it did in January, and prices are no longer climbing as rapidly, but things are still expensive. Because inflation is beginning to decrease in Americans for consumers, gas is less, and also some things are costing less too. But the Fed has been past 12-15 months locked in an aggressive war against inflation, raising interest rates above 5% in an attempt to get the price increases back down to a more normal pace. Last week, officials said they were skipping a rate increase in June, giving themselves more time to see how they already enacted changes that were playing out in the economy. But so far, Jerome Powell emphasized that it was just too early to declare victory in the battle against rapid price increases. According to experts, which less expensive gas and slower gas prices are actually happening. The obscure underlying trends and a measure of core inflation excludes fuel, and food fuel is showing surprising staying power as a range of purchases from dental, car to insurance continue to climb in a high price. The Fed officials have marked up their forecast of how high hardcore inflation will be at the end of 2023, and they say it's now 3.9%. While the steepest price increases appear to be over for consumers, a relief for many, development from Joe Biden has celebrated this. That's for people 6 to 17 years old, and half of their credit was given in advance, plus in monthly payments to the families to help others throughout the year, and the other half was given as part of a household's tax refund. The household with pretty much no or low income was able to receive it for the first time. And though it can take years for the policy to have the tangible effects, the impact of the credit was pretty much very noticeable, very fast. And so I believe it's pretty much right for Joe Biden to send out another one. Don't you guys agree? Parents reported using the advance payments for household essentials like groceries, clothing, schools, and utilities. And despite worries from conservatives, researchers found no evidence that the policy discouraged people from going back to work. Instead, it probably motivated people to get back to work. The Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, everybody, said the success of the 2021 expansion showed us that child poverty rates are a policy choice, not inevitable. And Congress failed to renew the expansion in 2021, reverting the credit back to its former, less generous iteration. It's one of the reasons that families could see smaller tax refunds this year when they file their returns, because some tax credits have already implemented their own version of a child tax credit last year to make up for the difference. Still, without this expansion, everybody, millions of people fell back into poverty at the beginning of last year. It made many people broke, and it hurt so many households. But folks, here's a solution to this. One of the biggest sticking points is whether or not the expanded child tax credit has a work requirement attached to it. Because if it does, that could be beneficial to the ones that need it the most, and the ones that need stimulus fast. Opponents believe there should be some sort of work requirement, but everybody, here's what I'm saying.
Per month. This is, it's never happened before. And look, history's been made here, but it comes alongside the largest drop in unemployment rate in a single year on record.
The Senate in history of the United States has been amazingly and extraordinarily productive. 20 months into the Democratic majority, I just want to take a moment to highlight the many, many accomplishments we have secured in this chamber under Democratic leadership. It's the most in recent memory. The American Rescue Plan, the Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill, the CHIPS and Science Act, the Gun Safety Bill, the Inflation Reduction Act, an omnibus package, and many other bills in between. Senate Democrats have worked hard every step of the way to improve the lives of American people, to help those in the middle class stay there, to help those struggling to get into the middle class a little easier to get there. And We will continue to do our work for the American people.
Those seniors. And now, as I said, for many of those seniors, everybody, in 2022, the standard Medicare Part B premium climbed 14.5% to $170 per month. That figure accounts to 10.2% of the average monthly benefit paid to retired workers in August, up from 9.6% in August of 2021. It meant that seniors had to give out more of their Social Security checks to cover the cost of medical care this year. And not only that, but the 5.9% COLA, which was enacted last year, failed to cover to the rising cost of Medicare premiums. It also failed to keep up with inflation in general. Retirees have seen their benefits stretched thin by the rapidly rising prices of food, gas, electric, and other necessities. Throughout the year, in fact, the Senior Citizens League estimates the average Social Security benefit has actually fallen short of what it can actually provide for. Fortunately, seniors are on pace to see a monster increase in 2023 for the COLA. Social Security beneficiaries are less than 2 weeks away from huge announcement. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics is scheduled to release its September inflation report on October. At that point, the SSA will have all the data it needs to calculate the COLA for next year. And the Senior Citizens League estimates that the 2023 COLA will clock in at around 8.7%. The Committee for Responsible Federal Budget says that the COLA for next year will probably be closer to 9%, maybe even 8.5%. In either case, that will represent the largest COLA in the last 4 decades. Regardless of where next year's COLA falls, there's nothing you need to do to receive it. If you're already receiving Social Security benefits or Ssdi, your payments automatically increase starting in January. Social Security benefits, however, can go a long way in retirement. It is important to stay up to date with the latest changes to the program. Many older Americans say they're cutting back on basics like food and medicine in order to stay afloat, and according to surveys from the Senior Citizens League, the pinch is even more extreme for those who rely on Social Security as their sole source of income. Given that the average retirement benefit everybody has actually increased to 5.9% this year for 2022 to around $1,700, it's failing to keep pace with annualized inflation that has topped 8%. And one Social Security and Medicare policy analyst at the Senior Citizen League told reporters, "I've been cautioning everybody about taking about improvements in buying power. Experts have also expressed concerns by the most recent uptick in gas prices, with costs..." About this. A ton of news about the fourth stimulus check, a ton of news about stimulus payments, a ton of news is here for you on stimulus checks. Joe Biden can do something about this. First of all, let's get into the most important news. It's that Social Security benefits, no matter what, play a major role for your retirement and for the older Americans especially. Now, there could be big changes on the horizon. Social Security is facing a shortfall. A shortfall that could be catastrophic, that is. The program is paying out more in benefits than it's receiving from taxes. If lawmakers don't find a solution soon, things could get nasty. There are several proposals on the table. Social Security benefits are funded primarily through payroll taxes. Workers pay into the program now, and the most of the money is paid out to the retirees. So let's not forget about that right now, though. These taxes are not even enough to pay out benefits in full. Just to cover Social Security, it has been dipping into its trust funds.